stalk when we found them and they got spotted. Silly kitties. But they are very, very hungry.
Ricky, king of the safari. Ricky?
Hello, Ricky. Ricky says, king of the safari. Well, thanks, Ricky, I think. And I'm hoping that these guys move up towards where we are. There are more wildebeest and zebra behind us. And I'm hoping that that's the direction they're going to head. And we're going to stay out for quite a bit tonight. We're going to stay out, see if they hunt. I haven't decided whether I'm going to stay with these guys. I'm going to give them about another half an hour, 45 minutes. But if they head further towards the river, as you can see, there's a big lugger there. We unfortunately are not going to be able to follow them. But for the moment, they're hungry lions, and there's wildebeest and zebra around. Now, the area we're in is called Majia Chafu, which basically means dirty water is the name of this little lugger. You can see 1, 2, where's number 4? 3, I see 3. 4 must be off to the right slightly. And this area has had a lot of rain since I was last here. It is emerald green.
Which male lion take care of the cubs or another lioness? Carry on taking care. Paul?
Hi, Paul. Paul's wondering if a lioness were to die, would another lioness take care of her cubs, or even a male lion? The male lion would take care of the pride, not the individual cubs as such, but another lioness, depending on the age of the cubs, if they were around 3 months old, 2 months old, she would definitely then take care of those cubs. And that is one of the benefits of being in a pride, in a social group, that they do have the chance to be able to take care of each other. Ooh, the wildebeest coming back towards them. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be very successful because the grass is non-existent at the moment. It's about half a centimetre high. But the gnu's have already spotted those lions. They were snorting at them earlier. I was just trying to hear if they'd started snorting again. And very pretty clouds out there this evening as well.
Do you think there's also zebras and wildebeest down there? Sina?
Sinak is wondering, do I think there are also zebras and wildebeest? Well, indeed there are. We saw those wildebeest there. There's some zebras behind us. And if we look up to the left, probably about 900 meters away from us, up on the crest of that little hill, there are some bigger herds of wildebeest and zebra, and there's some more further to the south of us as well. So yes, there are wildebeest and zebra around, but hunting when you're young and inexperienced, and also with this really short grass, could be quite problematic. What is that? Thought I saw another lion for a second, but not. So it's going to be quite interesting to see which way they move. If they move down towards the Mara River and down in that lugger, if I was them, I'd say staying close to this little lugger here is their best strategy going forward, and hoping that these animals come down for a drink. But while we wait it out with these big cats, let's go across to Jamie with her very relaxed Serval.
Very relaxed. In fact, I think we're all having a rather relaxed afternoon, waiting it out with our various cat sightings. Of course, if she moves now, I'll be in deep trouble, because it'll take me a while to actually manage to get my legs back under the steering wheel. She's still here. She's perfectly relaxed. She's lying there. Let me try and... Mine is not going to... Yeah, he is going to go back. So I was going to say, you're not going to let me do this gracefully. There we go. All right. Back comfortable once again. As much as I wanted to make that look comfortable, it really wasn't. No, we're all three of us, between South Africa and the Mara, are having a highly successful afternoon, and I think all of us waiting it out to see what the fall of night brings. I imagine she's going to get moving in the next half an hour or so. We, of course, will have to do the camera swap, and that occurs at around about the sunset time, where Manu will have to de-rig everything and rig up the ME-20. But that, of course, will give us those extra few minutes of colour before we switch to infrared. Ah, Julia, no, I have not. I have not seen a melanistic serval. However, I am in the land of the melanistic serval, aren't I? And apparently they're seen quite regularly towards the Aberdares, which is where we were actually thinking about going when we were on leave, and then it didn't quite work out that way. But would I give my left eye tooth? Oh, it would be a close thing. I would really love to see a melanistic serval. Completely black in colour. I've only ever seen pictures of them. I know they're more common in this area, or at least in Kenya and Tanzania. So that's something that I would really love to see. I haven't seen one before. There's some truly extraordinary pictures taken somewhere in Kenya. I'm not entirely sure where. I should actually have double-checked where those pictures were taken. But there's pictures of a normal-coloured serval, like the girl that we're looking at now, and a melanistic serval interacting, and it's quite extraordinary. I imagine that my heart would be pounding after a sighting like that. I would be beyond thrilled to experience a moment as rare and magical as that. So no melanistic serval for me. But perhaps one day, and perhaps you'll all be there to share it with me. I tell you what, I'll make you a promise. If I ever see a melanistic serval on my travels, and if I have phone signal, I'll do a Facebook Live with it. How does that sound? Me with my I really am completely useless with social media. But I'll do that. Oh, big yawn. There we go. Starting to see the signs of movement. Similar to lions, similar to leopards, cheetah, all of our big cats. When they start to yawn and lick their feet, there's a chance they're going to get up. Every now and again they go straight back to sleep just to prove us wrong. But there's definitely a correlation. Sinak, I wouldn't want to get scratched by one. I don't think that they have retractable claws. They are cat-like. They're not built in the same way that a lion's or a leopard's claws are, which are really, truly powerful things in their own right. Exceptionally powerful tendons, really strong roots to hold that sheath and that claw in place. And those, of course, using for catching and dragging down their prey. And since serval don't exactly hunt things much larger than a bird or a rodent, they don't need to have truly massive claws, but I'm sure they're very sharp. I heard a story once of a caracal that had been caught in somebody's hello girl, somebody's garage, and apparently this guy went in to try and to free her, and he put out his foot to stop her attacking him, and she took his shoe and his sock off in 2 swipes. She moved so fast. I also once had a caracal steal my dinner, and I took one look at her as she hissed at me and put her claws out, and I decided that I actually was going to let her have the dinner. Her name was Miss Muppet, and unfortunately, as I said, those sorts of stories don't often have a happy ending. She became very, very aggressive. Went in to try and to free her, and he put out his foot to stop her attacking him, and she took his shoe and his sock off in 2 swipes. She moved so fast. I also once had a caracal steal my dinner, and I took one look at her as she hissed at me and put her claws out, and I decided that I actually was going to let her have the dinner. Her name was Miss Muppet, and unfortunately, as I said, those sorts of stories don't often have a happy ending. She became very, very aggressive. The caracals are slightly stockier, though, than serval. They do have much stronger paws and claws. Similar size, but they're quite a lot more powerful. I still wouldn't want to get scratched by a serval, though. I don't know if any of you have cats that you've ever tried to give a bath when they're reluctant to do so. I'm sure you felt the effects of needle-like claws. Now she's listening. She's definitely more alert. She gave me a fright earlier. I was watching the sunset and I looked up and I couldn't see her anymore. I thought for one moment I'd completely lost her. But she was just sleeping. Mr. Carley? Yes, I mean, that was what Taylor was watching, was a serval, as far as I understand, a serval and a hyena having a standoff. Was it a standoff over a carcass? Yes, I think that a serval would scavenge. In fact, we know, we haven't seen it personally happen on Djuma, but it did happen with one of Karula's kills, where I think it was Rexon. It was Rexon. Rexon went in and followed the drag mark and found the kill and found a serval feeding on it while Karula was away fetching the cubs. That was obviously months ago, but yes, it does happen. They will scavenge off another predator's kill. They're not fussy in that respect. Cheetah generally don't. They don't want to run that risk, but Serval absolutely will sneak in and take an opportunistic chance at a potential meal. I still cannot believe that there was a Serval hissing at a hyena. That is the most phenomenal behavior. Oh, we're up. Quick scratch. And I think off we go again, I imagine, when she's finished scratching her chin. Is my imagination, or does she look a little bleary-eyed, a little sleepy? Right, as our pretty girl decides to wake up and which way she's going to go, it seems as though it's all action down at Twin Dams.
There is action at Twin Dams. There's probably every species under the sun that's at Twin Dams. We've had baboons come flying past us. There's been impalas, kudu. There was some elephants too, but they've moved off. But the real reason we're here is because there is one of our favorite animals in the whole world that's here. And now I'm sure many of you can guess exactly who's at Twin Dams, because, well, it's the favorite haunt of many of our different characters, but the favorite of them all is, I will show you now shortly, because he's lying up on the dam wall itself. So we're just going to try and see if we can see. There he is. Now I'm going to try and find a better position than where I am now without blocking everybody else that's watching. So there's some guys that are on the road at the moment, so we don't want to block them, so I will try and reposition. But there, sitting on the wall, is little Hosana. By the looks of things, it looks like him from this angle. I can see his face, and he's very sleepy, as you can see. So lots of different things happening at Twin Dams. Hosana hasn't poked his head over the dam wall just yet, so I would imagine that on the other side, when he does poke his dam wall, he's going to be, poke his head over, he's going to be very surprised at just the sheer numbers of animals on that side. What's also quite interesting is that he's lying low, and I'm sure because maybe he saw the baboons or heard the baboons close by. If the baboons see him, they will chase him. So he's trying to probably keep as low a profile as is possible. But I'm just trying to see, Seb, let me just try to get forward a little bit for you so that you've got a better view, because where we are at the moment is not very pleasant. Let's go through here quickly. It's a little bit of a bumpy road. Sorry, Seb. A little bit better, Seb. So there we go. You can see there's a car on the dam wall as well, so that's tax on top. And we luckily got an update from one of the guys in the south that said he crossed over from the south to the north, and you can see now he's just taking it very easy. Hello, beautiful boy. And he's far less playful than he was yesterday when he was messing around with his scrub hair. Now he looks very chilled and very relaxed. You can see he's sleepy, just much like our lions. It is hot this afternoon, and so that's why you will find that these cats are a little bit on the sleepy side because of the heat. And I'd imagine he'll also wake up at some point soon and start moving around. Our lions were absolutely passed out when we left them, so we decided we'd come down and just see if we can get a better view of Hosana and see if he gets up to something this afternoon as well. Look at the size of those paws. They are massive. His front paws are getting bigger by the day. That's a awesome surprise to have Hosana back. I thought maybe it might be Thamba because of given where we are, and we know that Thamba was seen here a few days ago, so I thought it might be him. But it's really a special surprise, and it's completed a really successful afternoon with cats. So let's go back to Jamie with her Serval and the sunset.
We just have to share something spectacular with you for the moment, as our Serval starts to contemplate her next move. Oh, good, she's going to lie down. That should give us the opportunity to switch cameras. However, I just wanted to show you the exquisite sunset that we're enjoying. I mean, I really can't think of a better way to spend an afternoon. I know we say that all the time, but we mean it. The ray is peeking through a hole in the cloud. It's just gorgeous. And a Serval in front of us. Shari, yes, absolutely. I missed the Mara while I was on leave. I won't lie to you in that one thing I really enjoyed was eating enormous amounts of takeaway food. Not that we're badly fed in the Mara, it's just something that you crave when you can't have it. Yes, I miss the Mara immensely. I also find myself homesick as well for South Africa, for the Lowveld. I wouldn't say I'm longing to return. There's just so much to see and to do here. But yes, I missed the Mara, and I missed home as well. But moments like this, imagine if I'd come back from work a day later, I wouldn't have seen this. Circumstances all working out perfectly as she walks straight underneath the sunset. I have got really exciting news. I think I heard that right. Let's go back across to Tristan, who seems to have had more luck this afternoon.
We have, Jamie, we've had not as much luck as you have by the looks of things and by the sounds of it, with you following your Serval around all afternoon, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm still very jealous about that, and jealous about Brent seeing Scar as well. It's probably the only animal in the world, as in a individual animal, that I've really wanted to see. All my other favorite animals have been ones that I've seen here in the South Africa, but that's probably one of the individuals that I've really always wanted to see, and so a bit envious of the two on that side of the world today. Although, in saying that, we have had the most ridiculous afternoon. We've had the Batelier drinking, we've had lions, we drove past some Ellies just now, there was lots of general game around Twin Dams, and now we've got the little chief as well. So it's just everything has kind of happened for us this afternoon, and from a fairly horrible start to our day with spilling tea and no signal and flat tires and cars not working, to, well, really successful day. We've had 2 spotted cats, we've had the Angama Pride, we've had just everything that we could ask for over the last few days. So it's been a very, very special afternoon, actually. So even though we haven't seen Scar or a Serval, we've still been spoiled, haven't we, Seb?
Very much so.
And we've chilled with our feet up like lions. Nobody else has done that today, I don't think, especially not on camera. We're the pioneers of that move. Now, Seb, I'm going to move you a little bit because Seb's battling with this car in the background, so I want to just give him his better shot that he can at least not have.
Sorry about that, everybody. It seems as though we had an attack of the gremlins and we were about to be in the process of changing our cameras, but due to Tristan's signal disappearing, we've decided to delay that ever so slightly, so you get to enjoy a bit more time with that Serval. I'm thrilled to hear that Hosana's doing so well. I miss them. I miss those 2 little leopards. So she heard something, dashed off and then came dashing back onto the road. It's as unpredictable as following leopards when they're moving through the bush. This is what I've learned. She backtracks all the time. Stopping, listening. She's smelling something there. She'll let us get a little bit closer. I reckon I could drive right up to her. I'm not going to, because I'd really, she's been so spectacular with us. I don't want her to have any kind of discomfort around the vehicle. But I really think that we could go right up to her and she'd be fine. But this is spectacular. Where are you taking us, little girl? As soon as she stops to look back, then I'll stop and give her a little bit of extra room. And of course, those ears working overtime to listen for the rustles of rodents. Dainty feet. I would love to show you her tracks as she pads down the road. Unfortunately, the soil is just that little bit too damp and the light is gone. I think it would be almost impossible for me to do it. She's heard something else. Stopping to listen. Nope, not worth it. On she goes. How amazing is this? And almost the entire sunset safari spent with a serval. I'm going to be smiling from ear to ear tonight. Our Lara Boer, absolutely. This to me is the best kind of catwalk. A very pretty one. Just, no. Not a chance she left a footprint on that soil. And she's heard something else. Nope. Still listening, but not focused yet. I'm keeping a very close eye on her. I want to stop as soon as she shows any sign of, not discomfort, but as soon as she shows any sign of wanting to move forward. And ideally in situations like this, it's really better to get yourself into a good place and then stop. I don't particularly, she's not completely relaxed with us following behind her. Twitching tail. That almost looks like a very skinny leopard walking down the road. At first glance, a very tiny one. There is something model-like about her. Graceful walk. Oh, well, speaking of, I might have one spotted cat, but it sounds like Brent has found you another.
Well, here we go. We have, it looks to be a female. She is gorgeous. This is the Majia Chafu female, and she's looking hungry as well. And there are some wildebeest and zebra around, but there should be some impala and Thompson's gazelle hopefully up ahead. So we're just waiting for her to come out of that rocky section. Hopefully she's going to move back up towards us. But isn't she gorgeous? I know a lot of people have been asking for Mara leopards. So there we go. Very attentive. Now I know she had a young male cub, and as I said, it could be the young cub, the young male. It's a bit far for us to tell at the moment. Looks female. Oh, she's walking the right way. She's walking the right way. We wanted to keep walking up out of that rocky section and away from the river. Just gone behind the gardenia tree. But isn't this exciting? So I've only spent one night out hunting with leopards, so quite fun. Hopefully she keeps coming. And hopefully she comes up this way. And she's disappeared. There she comes. Andrea is wondering, how do we identify the different leopards? Well, Andrea, I know that there's a resident female that's seen quite frequently by the guides in this area. You can see she's got a little bit of a limp, and she is quite, not starving, but she could definitely eat. So I know she's seen quite regularly in this area. So that's why I know who this female is. In other areas, it is very difficult in the Mara. There are some well-known females, but in the triangle, not too many. Oh, sneeze. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, what I hope she's going to do, which she looks like she's going to do, she's heading actually up towards the ranger's post. And you can see there's some thicker grass in between. And she's going to move up now. I'm sorry, there's a vehicle coming past. And while we're going to go get into a better spot. Well, it seems like Tristan is copying me. So let's go see what spotted cat he's got.
No, Brent. Fortunately, it's the other way around because you're about 400 to 0 at the moment behind. And I think we had Hosana on screen before you did. So it's more a case of you copying us. But either way, it doesn't really matter to have a leopard in the Mara and the leopard in the Sabi Sands is irrelevant where they are. It's just awesome to have it. It's the best thing ever that we have a day where we've had lions on both sides of the world, leopard on both sides of the world, and then just to throw in a bit of extra, let's just chuck a serval in there as well. It really has been a cat crazy afternoon, so really cool to see. And either way, like I say, it's special that we've got spotted cats on all sides of our feeds at the moment, and I believe a lot of you are excited to see the little prince. Well, after yesterday's performance where he was jumping up and down like a little hooligan with his scrub hair, he really does look absolutely magnificent today. And I'm surprised he's moved as far as he has, given that it's quite warm. He's come a long way. Chitwa Dam is not exactly close, and who knows which way he walked to get to this point, but either way, I'm not complaining. It's just wonderful to have him, and hopefully he's going to move further northwards into Djuma. Tomorrow morning I am doing a bushwalk, so I'm going to try and see if I can come track him down on foot. I think that's going to be my plan tomorrow morning, because we don't have too many flowers and things just yet, so it'll be really cool to track him down. Also, there's a few ellies around. Unfortunately, they've disappeared away from the water, so we can't see them anymore, but maybe tomorrow morning we'll try and get them as well. So it promises to be an exciting morning of walking, as well as the fact, well, that we've got an exciting afternoon ahead of us. Unfortunately, our lions have been left behind because I am a self-admitted leopard addict, and I can't help it. It's when there's a leopard around, it just makes my day every time. And I also find it's really nice to have a bit of sort of difference. You know, we've got so many lions in the Mara these days, and as much as the Angama pride is great, except when they're sleeping and it's hot, it's always nice to have a bit of a difference amongst all the feeds, and to try and sort of go from the serval to the lions and then to leopard here in the Sabi Sands. It just creates such a nice diversity, and just shows you how well they're working hand in hand at the moment. I remember drives when I first started Safari Live where we would go for days without a cat, and now I can't actually remember the last drive we've had where there wasn't a cat seen on drive at all between the two sort of properties. So we really are spoilt these days. We get to see the most amazing stuff, and we get so many great sightings that it's just absolutely wonderful. And when you've got a little prince like this that's sitting so close, oh, look at the yawn, which I think means that he might roll over. Edward, you're wondering how long leopards rest for? It depends, Edward. It's not always a constant amount. Look how his ears are flattening. So he's just trying to keep a low profile, because there were some impalas around that shouted at him a bit. But Edward, it depends. Some days they'll rest a lot more than others. I find that leopards are not as sort of restful as what the lions are. The lions tend to rest a lot more. Look at how he's creeping. Oh, don't go back that way. No. You must come this side. Okay, he's going to come our way. He's just trying to keep a low profile, but look how beautiful that is. Hosana, you are as beautiful as it gets. Look, he's crawling along right towards the car. He's coming right past us. Hello, beautiful boy. How are you? You can see he's just giving a little look to Seb. Hello. A little sniff of the back tire. There we go. Just making friends with Sebastian on the back. That's about as close as you're ever going to get to a wild leopard. Isn't that ridiculous? Just see his little face peeking out behind the car there. Where are you off to, you silly cat? But now you see how he uses the dam wall to creep along so that things don't shout at him, and then once he's down on the other side he can then sort of go, and he's, I'm sure, going to have a drink. So let's quickly jump across and see if we can't get onto the other side there where we can see him drinking. He's got to get past Tax at this stage, because he's going to go down. It's going to be a little bit visual of him drinking, but it will still be really, really nice as we do. Now he is probably going to get disturbed at some point by those that must not be mentioned. So if you do see us going off him, it's not because we want to, it's just unfortunately he's got some company. Sorry, Seb. I'll be in position in 2 seconds. But it's going to be really nice from this side. It's quite far, but it will be so beautiful because we're going to be directly opposite him, which will be nice. There we go. Just got to get through that little gap and down. And there we go, Seb. How's that? Straight across my left.
Welcome to the Mara, and we've had lions, we've had cheetahs on the hunt, but very seldom do we have a leopard on the hunt. And where she's just snuck off here. I'm not sure what she saw. I can't see it, and I can't see her now. She should be popping up shortly. I just want to go up ahead here. I just want to make sure there's no gazelle or impala. Could be something small like a dik-dik as well. But she suddenly started jogging off, and she is an absolutely gorgeous female leopard. Now this is she's moving away from the open areas towards these slightly thicker areas. Can you see her, Craig? Now, leopard stalks can often take quite a long time. She might go fast. Oh, no, okay, I've got her. Just to the left of that little green bush. Let me go forward for you a bit. So that really dark green bush. Oh, hang on. There we go. So in that dark green bush, there's a little window. You got her. Let me just keep. Just go to the left slightly. Sorry, to the right. Now, this is why a leopard, there she is. Okay, so there she's moving. Okay, there we go. Now, that's how good her camouflage is. Look at that. She is absolutely melted into the trees. Now, dik-diks and hares will lie up in little thickets like this. So she might have spotted something that we didn't see. Her eyes are perfectly designed to pick up movement. Now you will hear some other vehicles around us, but very soon, as it gets dark, we're going to be the only car out here in the Mara. You can just make out her rosettes through there. There, you see her head moving. I wonder what she's seen. Now this area's got quite a lot of Grant's gazelle, impala, Thompson's gazelle. All ideal prey sizes for a female leopard. I'm just having a quick scan around us and see if I can see what she's possibly interested in. Okay, I'm going to try and move shortly to see if we can get a better view of her. Now, when we saw her, before she dashed off into the open, she was quite hungry, so her belly was concave, so I'm definitely going to stick with her for the foreseeable future. I just want to have a quick look up here so we can see what might be coming up ahead. Now, of course, she might not have heard something. She might have seen something. She might have heard something that has caused her to move on. Christy wants to know, how long will a leopard stalk its prey? The longest stalk I've ever seen was about 3.5 hours, but I'm sure sometimes they can go for even longer than that. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll just sort of wait around the edge of a herd of impala or anything like that till it gets dark before they start stalking. So they keep an eye on their prey, but not actively sort of hunting it. Okay, let's have a quick look. Oh, we've got a little bit of a... There she is. Oh, no, she's decided to lie down. You got her through the window there. I think she must have seen something small like a dik-dik, and she raced into the thickets after it, and I think it's made good its escape already. There she is. Now we can see her nice and clearly. Isn't she gorgeous? Remember, this is 100% live, coming to you from the Masai Mara in Kenya. Now, when she puts her tail up like that, and you can see the white quite clearly, it's often a sign that she has been spotted by whatever she might have been hunting. So with big cats, this often happens. They'll go off on the stalk and on the hunt, and very quickly, if they get spotted or if they fail, they'll lie down, they'll rest. They could rest for 5 minutes, they could rest for 3 hours. You never know. And that's why when following big cats out live in the wild, you have to have lots and lots of patience. I'm just going to see if we can get a slightly closer look at her. So we're going to be staying out here for the next couple of hours. I'm really sure she is going to hunt. I think we might get a good view through this little window. Oh no, oh dear. Let's try from a bit further back again. She disappeared. She's moving, so she could be on the hunt again. So that's why you never know what's going to happen. That's the joy of being live in the African bushveld. So it looks like she changed direction. There she is. Oh, we're going to have such a good view. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Hello, pretty lady. Now, she's looking up towards the west of us. Now, there's a little gully there. There could easily be some impala. Oh, she is very, very pretty. Isn't that wonderful? Now, one of the ways we identify individual leopards is by their spot pattern, which is the two spots. Oh, see, she's heard something. She's definitely heard something. There's something very much keeping her attention. Oh, and as it's getting darker, the frogs are starting to call. Okay, well, we're going to stay with this female leopard. I'm pretty sure she's going to hunt. I think she's going to head further to the west. So while we do that, let's head back to South Africa and Tristan.
Brent Leo Smith. There's definitely something about him. He's a character. You can't say anything else, but he is a character for sure, and a highly entertaining one at that. But how cool is that? A leopard female in the Masai Mara stalking. I'm so happy for Brent, because I give him trouble about it and the fact that we've been seeing more leopards, but it's a lot easier to find leopards here, given that we can track, and we have a very good density in this area, as you can see by us looking at Hosana. We've had leopards all week. It's been really quite fantastic, and so I'm super glad that he's managed to get one on camera and he's going to be able to spend some time with her, because that's just an excellent way to spend a day. And I'm sure up there, I would love to know if they differ and how they move around in that particular section, and if the way that they move is different to our leopards here. But it looks like Hosana is going to head back towards Little Gowrie, because he's had a drink and now he's heading back up onto the dam wall. You can see, look how he's getting into a low posture as he goes up the dam wall, just checking around, making sure that those impalas that shouted at him earlier have gone, and just surveying the landscape, watching a water thickney that was shouting at him as well. Just checking that as he goes over, that he doesn't surprise anything on the other side. So you see, low body profile, keep those ears down, keep that head down as much as possible, and then just check slightly over the top of the dam wall. Make sure you're not going to spook anybody. So let's reposition ourselves quickly so that we can get a really nice view of him from where we are. I'm just got to be careful, because there's a really big ditch here that I don't... Oh, sorry, Hosana, did I give you a fright? Sorry, boy. He got a fright of the tree crashing down. So there was Impala's alarm calling, and I think he maybe thinks there was another leopard here, and that's maybe why he got a bit of a fright. But look how regal he looks up there at the moment. He looks just like a big male leopard should look. That is about as beautiful as it gets when it comes to looking at a leopard, that's for sure. So let me just reposition you slightly, although that's perfect actually. And Nisa, you say you agree? Absolutely beautiful. Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. If you're thinking of a leopard, that is about what you would think of in terms of a perfect pose. Well, for me anyway, I think that's absolutely wonderful. Up on the dam wall, watching what's going on. He's just checking and making sure that he can see anything that might come and drink. So he's got a perfect vantage point from up there. It is really the best place for a leopard to be, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Wonder what he's watching. He seems to be watching something behind us. But like I was saying, the impalas were going crazy earlier, and they weren't actually looking directly at him. I don't know if maybe his scent was blowing in their direction, or if there was some other reason. But he's been a lot more nervous since that period. He's been trying a lot more to kind of watch what's going on. He's been a lot more kind of hesitant in his movements. So wouldn't it be amazing if Thamba arrived as well for a drink? That certainly would put the proverbial cat amongst the pigeons. It would be really quite wonderful if we did see little Thamba in this area as well. Ali, you're asking about all the leopards and whether or not they have names. Well, Ali, most of them do, and it's more ID kits than names, so they get given names just on their character and things like that, because it will get confusing after a while if you just have numbers. But they do. So all the leopards that we know of, if it's a new leopard that's coming to this area and we don't know them, then it's a little bit different and we'll battle a little bit, but most of them do have names for sure. Seb, I want to just go and reposition you so that we don't have that branch on the left hand side, because that's going to make it that much better. I just need to get around this tree on the other side, because we're going to get rid of that horrible branch that's sitting in front of his whole body, and then we can hopefully get the whole body perfectly on the camera, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. It's just going to have to get round a little bush here quickly, and the best that we're going to be below Hosana, which is wonderful too, because it looks down on you. It really is a sort of very different perspective to have. So we're going to be here. Seb, just tell me when you've got a nice clear gap there. How's that? Oh, sorry, Hooter. We don't want to set the... I didn't mean to hoot at you. Oh, he's watching a nyala. That's what he's watching. There's a nyala on the other side of Twin Dams that's slowly but surely approaching this general vicinity, and that's what he's watching. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? His stare is absolutely magnificent from here. Nancy, you say he's very pensive. He is a bit pensive, isn't he? He's watching very carefully as to what's going on and making sure that he's taking in the surroundings that are here and making sure that he's checking on all of these available animals to hunt, because at the end of the day, if a nyala comes and he can hunt it, we know that he was hunting scrub hares this time yesterday, so he's going to take any opportunity he can get to get any food source. So it's a clever place for him to have positioned himself. It's definitely a far better place than being away from water at this stage. But I've found that his expressions are starting to get a lot more serious these days. He no longer has that sort of cub look to him anymore. He seems to get a lot more of a serious face. And look at that. Look how his ears are focused, his eyes. He's watching that nyala as best that he can. There we go. Look at the ears perking up. So you find that his ears will twitch and move accordingly as to what's going on. So he's gonna, sometimes it's gonna turn backwards if he hears something behind him, or it will be forwards. Just depends on how he hears things. But how's that? To be lower than him and just have him at eye level is such a different perspective. It's not a perspective you're going to see every day. You know, often they're on termite mounds, but he's on this flat road. It's just that much better in terms of seeing him. It's always, I know a lot of photographers always try and get into positions like this where they can be a lot lower than their subject, because it always looks better when you shoot up to them. It makes them look a lot more impressive. And like I say, Hosana is looking a lot more big male leopard by sitting the way he is currently than he was a few months ago. But that is beautiful, and there's a bit of colour in the sky. The only thing that's ruining where he's sitting at the moment is the telephone wire that's behind his head, which you can't see because the camera is higher than where I am. Oh, are you going to lie down now? Look at the size of the paws. How cool is this? This is as good as it gets in terms of a leopard sighting, that's for sure. We're being absolutely spoilt by Hosana. He's posing in the most perfect place for us. He's going to probably have a nap now, but there's so much happening around Twin Dams and so many different animals that have come down to drink, and I'm sure more will come, that it will wake him up at some point. Joe, you say even though he's growing up, he will always be our little Hosana. Well, exactly. He's might start looking like a big male, but he definitely still is our little Hosana and will always be that way. And it's just nice to see that he is growing up and that he's been so successful. And you can see there's the colors I was talking about. Is that not a beautiful view of a leopard under those pinks and blues and oranges? A little bit of wispy cloud there as well. Really is very, very pretty indeed. Spoilt is what we are, to be able to sit in Africa and listen to the hardy-daws fly over and have a leopard lying 5 meters from us is just a very special way to spend an afternoon, that's for sure. But he's not nearly as active as what the leopard in the Mara is at this stage. It seems the Mara animals tend to hunt a lot more during the day than what ours do. Ours tend to be a lot more nocturnal, kind of outside or over past sunset and before sunrise, whereas the cats that side seem to hunt most afternoons. It's quite an interesting difference between here and there. Now we're going to sit with Hosana as he just sits underneath the beautiful sky of southern Africa, and he has his little nap because I'm sure it won't be long lived. And so while we do that, let's go back to Jamie and her hunting serval.
From Hosana with spots to our pretty little serval. We're still here and we're still with her. We've completed the camera swap, which is why, even though I actually can't even see her anymore, we are able to get these amazing views in color. Now, because there's very little ambient light tonight, because it is cloudy, we will have to switch to infrared, I would say, before the night is over. But for now, we can take advantage with the ME20 of every little available bit of ambient light. So she's here, she's heard something. It's been fascinating. It's a bit difficult to sort of juggle following her and swapping the cameras around. But while we've been doing it, I've been watching her behavior, and she's moved from croton thicket to termite mound to bush to bush to bush, and listening, stopping, sniffing and listening each and every time she gets there. Obviously looking for things like scrub hares, rodents that would be hiding away during the day and coming out at night. And what she's focused on, or she was focused on, and I think she's playing a long game here, there's something rustling in the bushes to her right, and I think she's waiting to ambush whatever it happens to be. She crept forward so silently, and then she's sitting down in that typical cat pose. And I remember distinctly when VM and myself were with an African wildcat. We sat for 2.5 hours watching her, and she was stalking at the beginning of those 2.5 hours, and it was only right at the end that it actually launched itself forward and caught a bird. We, of course, missed it. No, we didn't. VM got it on camera, but we really thought she'd gone to sleep. Her movement surprised us all. I think something similar will happen with this serval. Now she's just spots. Manu has become my eyes for now. He's going to help me keep an eye on her. I have got my spotlight, but obviously while she's hunting, we're going to keep its use to an absolute minimum. Our beard, you say that the low light camera is working so well. It is, isn't it? We're very fortunate to have had access to the technology that we've been using, from the thermal imaging to the low light camera. It's provided us with an insight that we would never have had otherwise. An opportunity to actually follow them without either having to leave them because we run the risk of disturbing them, or actually disturbing them with the spotlight. We still use it when it's appropriate to do so. But I mean, it's pitch black. Not quite. That's an exaggeration. It's at the point where I can barely see. I can barely make out the bushes in front of me, let alone the serval. Very hard to convey just how spectacular it is. And she's just a puddle of spots in the long grass. Ricky, absolutely. Such patience indeed. For her, it'll mean the difference between a success and a failure, and for us, actually, I mean, you absolutely cannot be out here and expect to see spectacular things right off the bat. Spending time with these animals requires a huge amount of patience, and when it pays off, it does so spectacularly. Those ears stick out so clearly. We were talking about it earlier. She's really treated us to the most spectacular afternoon. Lions, leopards, serval. Oh, something's caught her attention. Tony, you say serval babies would be a great sight to see, and perhaps this is wishful thinking. It's not. I'm thinking the same thing. This is a female. I think it's the same one we've seen regularly. She's relaxed around vehicles. There have been serval kitten sightings in the Mara before. It is definitely in the realms of possibility. Sorry, I didn't quite catch your name. I think it was Louis. You wanted to know if the serval kittens would be called servalettes. Oh, there she goes. Trotting forward. Let's just wait to see. Oh, she's going to go hide behind that bush. Which way is she looking? Let's go. Oh. Her attention is over there. Let's do a quick reposition. Left or right? Left or right? Left, says Manu. Manu acting as my ears and eyes. No, just my eyes. My ears work fine in the dark. There she is. Thompsons. Look at the Tommies go. I thought I saw a brief flash of white. I want to see a serval kitten now. Like I hadn't been spoilt enough. Well, you never know. Manu and I seem to have some spectacular serval luck going recently. Might just pay off. Phoebe, you want to know why they have such long necks? I think it's just part of their general design, which is quite long and lanky. I'm not sure that there's a specific purpose. Obviously, the longer the neck and the longer the face, the less powerful the jaw becomes. You need a sort of a stout, compact face to have really powerful attachment points for jaw muscles in terms of cat and dog design. I would perhaps suggest she doesn't need to have massive crushing power in her jaws. Did I see something go past her there? No, I think it was my imagination. Oh, look, she's doing that little back twitch thing that all cats do when something's just a little bit itchy. Bree, as we spoke about, they are powerful enough, but they're not built as stocky, powerful killers. So I would say that the largest prey that you'd be looking at is probably something like a scrub hare, potentially, or something along the lines of a francolin, maybe even a guinea fowl, if she was able to hunt them in the trees at night, which is relatively large, actually, when you compare it to her body size. But I think it would probably stop around about there. I don't know if there's any recorded cases of serval killing small antelope. I doubt it. There we go. I'm going to switch across to infrared. And just so that we can see her slightly clearly, more clearly. It is very, very dark now, so this is going to be our best way of keeping track of her. I've never followed a serval at night before. Well, at least not for very long without losing it. So this is going to be a first for all of us. Beautiful. There's something genet-like about their faces. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me. I think it's the length of the nose. Andy, that's brilliant. The Audrey Hepburn of the cat world. Absolutely. Those doe eyes of hers. I couldn't agree more. So there we go. Takes us back to a conversation we had weeks ago about which actor or actress would voice various animals. There you go. Audrey Hepburn would be the serval. Alright, well, while our serval waits for her breakfast in the Mara, not quite at Tiffany's, let's go back to South Africa to see what the cats are up to there.
Well, Hosana is sleeping, but it does sound like there's another leopard on its way here because there's alarm calls behind me. And it sounds like they've just found her now, so it sounds like a female leopard around the Mulawati, which is amazing. So it sounds like Thandi not too far from where we are. So maybe what we'll do is if Hosana is going to sleep, just want to listen. I wonder if he's coming south. Let me find out quickly on the radio if he's coming south, or she's coming out south, shall I say. Ralph, is that leopard mobile south? Oh, it's not answering me. They're too busy talking on the radio. But there's definitely another leopard just north of us at the moment. So I wonder if it is heading this side. It would be amazing if it did. But look how beautiful that white tummy is. And the Nyal has also come quite close, but Hosana hasn't seen it yet. He's still so fast asleep on his damn wall that he hasn't actually seen what's going on. But I'm hoping that this leopard, that one north of us, comes here, because it'll be interesting just to see the way he reacts to that. But look at that beautiful sky. It is absolutely beautiful. Now it sounds like that leopard is mobile south. Perfect. So we're going to sit here and wait. She is mobile in this direction. She's still quite a way away. She's about 200 meters north of me. So is coming this side slowly but surely, which is fantastic. So we're just going to be patient and wait, and hopefully this leopard will come this side. Although the guy wants to leave that leopard, so I wouldn't mind getting to it before he does, because otherwise we're going to lose that one, and I would hope that it will come generally this direction. He's saying young female, so it can't be Thandi. Wonder if it's not Shongile. Wouldn't that be a sight for sore eyes if little Shongile joins up with Hosana again? Well, the last time we saw Shongile was with Hosana, so it sounds promising. I'm just keeping an eye out north of me. It's still quite far. It's close to where we had Thamba with those elephants for a while, so the Mamba Junction, which they've got to cross a little drainage before they come down to Twin Dams. But given the heat that we've had today, I would imagine that this leopard will come to this area just for a drink of water, much like what Hosana has done. So this leopard will head in this general vicinity as well. But come on, Hosana, wake up. He's still fast asleep though. He's not interested in anything, and I'm surprised because the alarm calls of that other, of those Nyala and the various other individual animals that were alarm calling, that he didn't even lift his head. And it's not far from us. Like I say, it's close enough that he should have heard it and should have woken up. And you can see a car has just come past us and he is not woken up at all. Interesting. Still fast asleep though. But it's good news, there's another car that's going to join that female, so I'm just going to listen, and if they start veering off from coming towards Twin Dams, we'll go to her. But either way, we will see this other leopard. I mean, how is this? This is just ridiculous to have another leopard, 3 leopards in a drive, so 2 here in the Sabi Sands and 1 in the Mara. It's just absolutely phenomenal, and the fact that we'll have seen a 3rd leopard for the day is really quite special. So we're just being absolutely spoiled. And like I say, sitting where we are right now with this sky that we've got, look at these beautiful oranges. That's my view right now. On my left is a leopard, on my right is that sunset over Twin Dams. There's a Nyala bull, alarm calls, and then to the north of me, which is in that direction, there is also another leopard approaching. So how's that for a special way to spend a day? There you can see the Nyala bull just sitting at the edge of the water. See his reflection. It's actually easier to see his reflection than it is to see him on that pink water. Beautiful, isn't it? My boy, you're going to have a tough time. You're about to get sandwiched between 2 leopards, which is not a place you would want to be. See how aware it is as it comes down to drink. It's interesting how slowly it walks. It doesn't want to make too much noise. Also wants to check and make sure. And it hasn't seen Hosana because Hosana's head is down. He's flat. Difficult to see him in this light. It's that twilight time, and so not easy at all. So that Nyala is trying to slowly make its way to the water and just make sure that there isn't something lurking. It would have heard the impala's alarm calling earlier. There it comes. But it is a big Nyala bull. So a female leopard and even Hosana, that's probably a bit much for them to take on. Somebody like Tingana could tackle a Nyala bull like this, but it would be a really big kill for somebody like Hosana. Look at that reflection in the pink as well. So, sorry Megan, if you can just repeat that. You was Game Drive Radio and yourself. I just heard Angeline. Angeline, you say how much you love the reflection. It is beautiful, isn't it? Look at that, especially the hairiness of a Nyala as it walks along. That is just so wonderful. And all the hatches of the insects, you can see little mayflies and various other aquatic insects hatching off and causing those little ripples. And then the beard of the Nyala and the horns. What a wonderful picture that is. And then the pink of that sunset. Absolutely beautiful. Spoilt is what we are. Africa at its absolute worst this afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. It's absolutely ridiculous how beautiful that situation is in this scenario. You can see a nightjar drinking as well in the water at the bottom of the screen. There's a couple bats that are also flying around. You might see them zipping through the lightness of the sky. There they go. There went one. Just quickly going past. So we've got bats, we've got Nyala, we've got leopards, we've got nightjars, we've got a beautiful sunset, and just, well, what an absolute treat this is. And we've been seriously spoilt today. I know I say it a lot, but it's true. It's hard not to feel really kind of in awe of moments like this when we get to spend time with animals in the way that we have, and to sit here now with Hosana completely on our own. That sunset is just, what a wonderful way to spend a day. It doesn't feel like work when we sit and do things like this, that's for sure, and it really is the best way to spend a day. And as Megan says, what a time to be alive. Yes, Megan, you are incredibly correct. It is an amazing time to be alive. I'm just keeping an eye over my shoulder. I'm waiting for the lights of that other vehicle to start coming, and it's going to be a while still. I think probably about 10 minutes until it gets here, which is going to cut it quite fine. So in the next 5 minutes, if I don't see lights coming my way, then I'm going to go try and catch up with that leopard so we can get a last minute look at whoever it is. I still haven't got an ID over the radio as to which leopard it is, but it's going to be touch and go. It's a route Tundi walks a lot, but I'm just somehow hoping that it is Shongile. So we'll have to just wait and see and hope that it is little Shongololo that is making her way this side to join her brother, who is at this stage a carpet. So I think what I'm going to do is probably leave Hosana where he is right now. I'm going to probably start heading towards that female and then follow her this direction. And while I do that, I believe Jamie is still in the Mara, still with her Serval, which is just ridiculous, and I hope she's having a wonderful time on that side of the world.
Our Serval is on the move once again, stalking through the long grass. It's interesting, she hasn't covered much in terms of distance. It's not like following a lion or a leopard when they're really on a mission. She just crisscrosses backwards and forwards in a very small area. Oh, there she goes. Oh, what did she get? What was that? A moth. I think she caught a moth. It was some kind of flying insect. I wonder how much of their diet is insect-based. I imagine quite a fair percentage. That was impressive. I barely even saw that. And those huge ears are probably hearing the sound of the wing beats as well as seeing it. She really is the epitome of grace. Standing tall, peering through the grass. A scrub hare would be first prize, I imagine, or a large bird, something like a francolin or a guinea fowl. She's trotting forward again. Oh, where's she going? She's catching moths. Or flying ants. I can't actually quite see what it is they are. That's fun. To use the spotlight quickly, just so that I can see where she is. Since I know she's hunting insects, my goodness, I'm going to get powerful shoulders with this thing. I'm going to look like Scott by the end of it. Plus, I feel like I'm lighting up Tanzania. Christy, yes, servals are very likely to hunt in the evening. There we go. Let me stop here. I can't find the switch on this light. They are both diurnal and nocturnal. They're active during both times. I think that you'll find that their success rate at night is probably much, much higher, just because they've got the advantage of darkness. Much like leopards and lions. I mean, we've already seen her make one kill during the day, and potentially one kill at night. Oh, actually, she's just killed twice. No flying insect is safe. There you go. Our Larimur, her long neck does help her to see above the grass. So we go back to the question of why she has such a long neck. I guess there you go. So that she can peer over the top of the grass. And for those of you that haven't been watching since the beginning, this grass really has, it is completely different. It was so long in the beginning. Oh, where's she gone? There she is. I feel like I'm holding an old-fashioned lantern. James can never mock my spotlighting technique again. The reason I'm using the spotlight now is because I don't want to drive too close to her. It's very difficult for me to gauge distance with the camera, so I don't want to get into her space. What's she found there? This is fascinating to watch. This really is the most unparalleled opportunity. Woman, absolutely. Now she needs a real meal. That mouse really only filled a gap, I would say. That rodent. Now she needs something serious. Or perhaps another 4 or 5 rodents. I mean, I saw some zebra earlier, but I think that might be a little bit beyond her capabilities. Thank you, Manu, helping me keep track of where she is and what she's doing. Oh, is that her there? No! No! Ah, I found her again. Okay, I'm going to catch up with her. Let's go back to Tristan, who is following a leopard.
We have, so it's not a female, it's little Thamba that's coming past, my absolute favorite little individual. So there he comes, just walking past us, and he's walking straight towards where Hosana is. He's not far now, he's maybe 200 meters from where Hosana is, so we're going to see how this plays out. But there he goes past me, and he's being a bit shy because baboons are barking at him. So the baboons have seen him and are giving him a little bit of trouble. So I'm just going to try and reverse and get a better position, and you'll notice that all my lights are off. It's because I was trying to just stop the baboons from seeing him and giving him a hard time, and that's why I just turned my lights off, because baboons can be quite dangerous to a young leopard, and so we don't want to give him too much of a problem. But he's still mobile. So let's just try and see if I can quickly shift. Now that he's past the baboons, I can put my light on, no problem, and it's okay. There he goes, into the road again. Thamba, you're looking big, my boy. Now, it's going to be interesting because what's going to happen now is he's going to join, well, walk into Hosana, and it's going to be interesting to see who's bigger. He's definitely, I don't think, as big as Hosana. Like, now that I've seen Hosana a few minutes ago and now Thamba, I don't think he's quite as bulky yet, but interesting how it's going to work out, because obviously this is the age-old discussion as to who is bigger at the moment, Thamba or Hosana. But how's this? The two, I suppose, princes, you could call them. One is Prince from Karula, or Little Chief, and the other one is, well, Prince from Karula's lineage. So the two of them are both here. This is just the most ridiculous thing, and you can see Thamba's walking fast. I think he heard those impalas alarm calling earlier and has rushed into this area. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave little Thamba here, and I'm going to go position myself where Hosana is, and we're going to watch Thamba come past into this area. So there goes Thamba down my right hand side, and I want to quickly go and have a look. Now there's a diker between Thamba and Hosana now, so one vehicle is going to follow Thamba. I'm going to follow, it's going to sit back with Hosana, and we're going to see who goes where and what actually happens. But it should be quite promising for an interesting interaction. I have a funny feeling both are going to run. So I think Hosana is going to run south, Thamba's going to run north, and we're going to have that situation. That's what I think anyway. Whether that comes to fruition is anyone's guess at this stage, but I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think these two are going to battle with each other, or they're going to surprise us and the two of them are going to come together. Patty, you think Hosana is going to want to play? Well, his head's up now, which is more than what was happening earlier. Earlier he was completely down and sleeping, so I reckon, I'm not sure if he's going to want to play with Thamba. Maybe if he sees a small diminutive leopard, he might think Shongile or a female and be interested and move towards her, but I have a funny feeling when they see each other, both of them are going to be a little bit kind of, whoopsie, what is this, and maybe move off. So we're back with Hosana now, which is quite nice. There we go. Is that okay, Seb? Yeah. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit here with the two of them, and if we need to extend a little bit, we will. We're not going to just leave the two of them, but we definitely will watch what plays out. I can see where Thamba is. He's on my other side here. He's still slowly making his way in this general vicinity. He hasn't quite made it just yet, but he is on his way to this area. So we'll just watch very carefully. Look how he's sniffing the air. How beautiful is that? You are very pretty, old Hosana. Wow. Laura Moore, you say, what a photogenic poser. Now you can see Thamba is actually coming. It's not easy from where Seb is now, but I can just see him coming in the light, and I think Hosana has seen him now as well. So Hosana has now definitely picked him up and is watching very carefully as to what's going on. And he's just making sure that he checks what's happening. Interesting, because there comes Thamba. You can see him just in the distance, silhouette walking. Here comes Hosana. Hosana's coming down towards Thamba. There we go, look. So he's heading right in that direction. Now these two are about to meet. I don't think Thamba has any idea Hosana is here. Now I'm going to just try and... There's Thamba. So let's see. Hosana is definitely on his way and watching who this is. He's checking it out. So you can see him. Seb, I'm going to give you a little bit of light. Poor Thamba just wants to come and have a drink. He's so thirsty. And there, look, there goes Hosana slinking along. Okay, Seb, let's get back there quickly, because I think what we're going to find is that Thamba's about to get a nasty little surprise. So I'm just trying to reverse without being able to actually see too much. A lot of you are excited. This is absolutely crazy. To see two leopards together is just ridiculous. So I'm going to quickly try and get to Thamba as fast as I can, because I don't think Thamba's seen Hosana yet. So let's quickly get round Sorry, Seb, if I'm bouncing you around from... Sammy Jane, you say, oh my gosh, your nerves. But there, look, you see, Thamba is drinking, Hosana watching him. So they both haven't seen each other. Well, Hosana's definitely seen Thamba, but Thamba hasn't seen Hosana yet. Or has he? Because he's in a low cowering position. Look, he has seen Hosana now. So he's in a low cowering position. Hosana is stalking towards Thamba. So Tamba's just watching. This is crazy.
Where is Thamba?
Right here.
Yeah, but like I don't have light on him.
There. You can see he's right in the middle of your frame. So you can see Seb's just battling a little bit because the IR. But there's Hosana, and look at this. He's drinking, not at all perturbed. Hosana in front is now sitting and just watching. He's not worried either. How ridiculous is this? This is absolutely insane. I don't think that either of them know what to do with each other. How mad is this, guys? We have been so spoiled with the leopard interaction the last few weeks. Seb, it's always with you. I don't know what it is about you, but you bring on the leopard spoilings that we get. But this is absolutely crazy. Angeline, you say your heart is beating so fast right now. Well, I know, it is amazing, but there's not aggression from either one yet, and it seems as though they've seen each other, although I don't know about Thamba. He's drinking so much that I don't know if he's actually noticed that Hosana is so close to where he is. But we are in prime position to see what's going on. This is just amazing. There's Hosana watching. You see, he's not really sure what to do. I think he knows that this isn't Shongile, it isn't Thandi, so I think he's kind of just checking out to think to himself, well, who is this person that's drinking? And it's quite amazing to see. Sana, what are you going to do? Tim, you say just like old buddies. Well, I don't know so much. I think Hosana is trying to work out what's going on and trying to see who this actually is, whether it's a female or a young male. Thamba is just playing it cool and just drinking because he's probably so hot and thirsty that he just wants to find some semblance of hydration. And, well, they're at a happy medium for now. I don't know if Hosana's going to come bounding in and chase him, but for now, it's all pretty static. And there comes Hosana now. He's coming closer, look. So he's just drifting in here a little bit. See how he's gone into a bit more of a stalk pose. Now, Thamba's seen him and just carried on drinking. He's not in any way perturbed whatsoever. So he's not getting scared of Hosana's movements, which I thought he might. It's really weird. I would have thought that Thamba would have been a lot more circumspect. George, you're confused that there's no vocal calls. Well, the thing is, or calls, should I say? Well, the thing is with it, George, is that both these leopards are young, so they don't want to attract too much attention in case the other one is a lot more big, well, a lot bigger or more dominant. So it's more a situation that they're actually just kind of sizing one another up. So it's there we go. Look, Thamba's just watching now. Hosana, what are you going to do? Hosana's in a sort of more of a crouch pose. Thamba's sitting. No growling. I would have thought there would have been a little bit of chuffing at least. And Thamba's coming closer. Is he sniffing? This is craziness. Hosana's chuffing. So Hosana's chuffing. He's not sure. Thamba's being far more bold. Look at this. This is ridiculous. A little growl from Hosana. Look how close they are. How amazing is this? This is ridiculous. What are you two doing? See, Hosana's not sure. There comes Thamba closer. Are they going to join together? No, look. There we go. Hosana's now displaying and saying, no, that's close enough now. You stop there. But there is the two young men of this area. And you can see, even though Thamba is 6 months younger, there is not too much of a size difference. Look, wait, he's getting closer. Look at this. They are within a meter of each other. How is that? That is crazy. No, that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't believe it. I would have thought they would have gotten so much sort of more aggressive with one another. I can't actually believe how close. Listen. Now they're going to sniff each other. No, this is absolutely amazing. This is craziness. I can't actually believe this. There is a little bit of growling going on. You can see they are salivating. Thamba into a more submissive pattern. No, this is ridiculous, guys. We are witnessing something very, very, very unique. This is not something we're going to see every day, and certainly something that is not common at all. Two young male leopards squaring off, and this might be the first time that these two have actually squared off like this. This is crazy. This is a madness, madness, madness. I think both of them are a little bit scared to go after each other. But look at the aggressiveness of Thamba. So Laramua, you say Hosana is not pleased. Look at that drooling. Well, Thamba's drooling too. So it's not just Hosana at this stage. Both of them are drooling quite heavily. So there is definitely a lot of drooling taking place. That's for sure. So it's an interesting sighting in that neither one is really being too aggressive, but neither one is being too submissive either. So the drooling is part of the fact that they're not happy with one another. There goes Thamba. He's going to try and sort of get out of there. But wow, this is ridiculous. So drive would normally be finished now, guys, but we are going to extend. We're going to carry on because this is just absolutely phenomenal and not something we're going to witness every single day. So we're going to keep up with them for a while longer and just see what happens. Look at how Thamba's rolling. He's trying to display to Hosana, not a threat, leave me alone, don't fight with me. And this is how he does it. Whereas you can see Hosana has got the much more brave sort of posture. He's up, he's checking out Thamba. Look, now they're both lying down. Both of them are almost in a submissive role now. That's craziness, guys. Look at this. For those of you who thought that even these young males would be playful with one another, you can see is a bit of aggression. But I wonder, once the aggression goes and they kind of see each other for a bit, whether or not they're going to just start resting. Because you can see Hosana looks around a little bit. Thamba's looking around. There's Thamba trying to just slink off and around. Sorry, Seb. There goes Thamba. Thamba's decided, I'm out of here. He's not going to carry on. Hosana's just watching and just chuffing a little bit. Well done, boys. It's good that you don't fight. You have to stand up for each other, but don't fight with one another. This is just the most insane thing. Scott, you say friends. I don't know if friends is what I would call this. You can see there's fire in Hosana's eyes, and so is there in Thamba's. Both of them are not chuffed that they've run into each other, but at the end of the day, they've both done what they needed to do. Both were avoided conflicts, but Hosana looks like he might go after Thamba. There we go. You see, he's following, sniffing now where Thamba was lying, and there goes Hosana. He's following in behind Thamba now. I wonder if this is not going to go on all night, where they're going to just follow each other around. Interesting. Where's Thamba gone? So he's going to where Thamba drank. I think Thamba's right behind me now. We're stuck in the middle of this at the moment. I'm going to move quickly, Seb. Is Thamba behind us?
Yeah. Yeah, he's right there behind us. We're going to shut that in.
Okay.
We're going to fight. Wait. I've got.
Okay, so Seb's got them. I was just worried about the mast. So, here we go, Seb. So we just need a bit of light because we actually didn't have our IR on. So I do apologize about the shadows of the mast. So that's Thamba on the right. You can see he's growling and hissing with those big eyes. Alright boys, enough is enough now. Let it go. You see Thamba's trying to just move away slowly. He's trying to back away, and Hosana's pressing home the advantage. This is just ridiculous. Now, we had this sighting with Shongile and Thandi the other day. Now to have this is just insane. What is going on in the leopard world? Seb, I'm going to just turn quickly because we've got the shadows and I can't see nicely what's going on while they're just sitting. How close are they?
Yeah, you can go.
It's fine. Let's turn quickly. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Hosana will follow him though. Hosana is going to not stay away from where Thamba is. Now to throw into this, there's also baboons around as well. I can hear them shouting at these two leopards. So there Thamba is just sitting down watching. You can see Hosana drooling, salivating, which is very typical of a male leopard or any leopard that's upset and has seen a individual come into his territory, and there's just looking around, checking. But Thamba hasn't run off. Thamba's just moved off slightly and is just watching Hosana. I wonder if these two are not going to be together still tomorrow morning. It will be amazing if they are. And if this growling and carrying on gets on too long, I wouldn't be surprised Thandi arrives, and then it will be interesting because Thandi will defend her cub with absolute fierceness. She'll chase Hosana away, and not because she wants to, it's just that she wants to defend her cub. She doesn't want to let her cub get hurt, and so she'll even brave up to a male leopard in that case. And even the likes of Tingana, if this was the same situation with Tingana, she would have come running in if she finds the situation to try and get rid of the threat. But it seems as though we've reached a little stalemate now. Thamba's no longer growling, Hosana's no longer growling, so we're in a situation where both leopards seem to be a little bit more chilled with what's going on. They're watching each other, but they're a lot more chilled. You can hear that in the background there is the baboon's alarm calling. But this is crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm just checking around. No other leopard that's arriving, in case there was a bit of another one arriving with the baboons shouting, because I'm not sure the baboons can see them from here. I wonder if Thandi's not on her way this side as well. But I believe a lot of you are just, as I am, almost speechless as to what to say. Like I said, we had this crazy interaction with Thandi and Shongile a while ago, and now we've got this interaction with these two. I don't really know what to make of all of this. It's just been a crazy few weeks of leopard interaction, and it's because it's dry, so the leopards are all coming in, and it just shows you the void that a female leopard can leave, because we've got the void left by Karula, which has allowed Thandi to come in, and this is why we're getting these two boys fighting with one another. Hosana, you better hope Thandi doesn't arrive here, because she's not going to take kindly to you being around. But we're going to, unfortunately, stop for now, and it's going to finish the show while there's a hiatus in the activity. I will sit here for a little bit longer and just see what happens, and just in case anything goes crazy. But I think we'll find a situation where these two are not going to really fight too much. They're going to try and avoid it as much as possible. And so tomorrow morning we'll head straight into this area. I don't know if we're going to do bushwalk if these two are still around, because it will be just crazy to come and follow up and see if they're around and if Thandi is joined. But from Seb and myself and Jamie and Brent in the Mara, it's been an absolutely incredible afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the Sunrise Safari.